Hello, welcome to Trend Settings episode 87, I believe. This is take 2. Sorry, Sammy Sosa. She was the one watching, but we're back. We got shut down by the man, guys.
Oh,
I feel
were talking
oppressed.
about baseball. Is that bad?
Baseball steroids? The Olympic Committee shut us down for talking about steroids in baseball.
I think so.
Is that a thing?
Maybe.
I don't know. If you don't know what we're talking about, the Facebook live stream got shut down right as we were about to start. And we got a notification saying the Olympic Committee shut you down for copyright.
Does the Olympic Committee have that power?
Apparently, I feel like raging against the machine. But I digress.
No.
This is Trend Settings. We are Group Settings. We're a podcast that goes into what's trending every single week. This week was a hot week. There was a big stuff happening. Childish Gambino brought out a music video that changed things.
Whoa.
Or maybe it didn't. Who knows? Iran's dealing with Trump somehow. And Google is doing artificial intelligence stuff.
Nailed it.
This is Trend Settings. My name is Ali.
I'm Jono.
My name is Chris.
Evelyn.
You sure you want that microphone that far away from you?
Yes.
Mr. Soft-spoken.
So.
Well,
No,
he's
it's
typing.
okay. It's okay.
Put it to the side of it.
I can't,
It's not that complicated.
It's fine. How's my levels?
It's really low compared to what it
What
was
are you
before.
talking about?
Because you're so far away.
Okay, I digressed, and we are going to anti-digress. We are doing a This Is America breakdown. So,
Ooh.
Childish Gambino, right? Also known as Donald Glover, the actor, director, writer of Deadpool's turned down script. His music persona, yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Chris, very much. Is Childish Gambino. He's been around forever. You've probably heard of him, but just in case you didn't, that was the reference. Now, he brought out a music video this week called This Is America. Right?
Yes.
Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
It's like freak.
It is banging.
I've watched this so many times this week.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just going to go into the details of like all the references, all the allusions, all the meanings, and then we're going to discuss after, okay? So I'll put all the facts and all the references out there, and then I've got a few questions at the end.
Okay, so we'll
Hit
have
us.
question
Provoke
time
some thought.
Hit us up.
after the information time.
Hit us with
Yeah.
some facts.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, Childish Gambino, This Is America. It's directed by Hiro Murai, who is a very often collaborator with Childish Gambino. He did pretty much all of his music videos, as well as a lot of episodes of Atlanta and a lot of episodes of Legion, which is great. I haven't actually started season 2, but I want to. And Chet Faker's Gold, Australian connection.
Ooh.
Not Chet Faker anymore.
Aussie,
Why did he change
Aussie.
his name? Nobody knows. It was choreographed by Sherry Silver.
Sherry.
You probably haven't heard of her,
Shezza.
but if you look her up, she does heaps of charity work for people in Rwanda, Kigali, and Lagos, and is also a model and a dancer. It was like I was looking her up, like expecting like an IMDb of all these music videos, and it's like, no, she just saves people in Africa. I was like, oh, sweet.
Wow.
Go Sherry.
And she choreographed this video that's like more than 100% dancing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was composed by Ludwig Göransson. How would you say that?
Yeah, Goranson,
Yeah.
maybe.
Who did the Black Panther soundtrack, did a lot of Community stuff, which I imagine is probably where he met Donald Glover, as Donald Glover acts on Community for the first 4 seasons. He did the music on Creed, Fruitvale Station, and pretty much all Childish Gambino's music videos. Now, I bet you thought at the end of this song there was probably maybe 2 people in it, but it was majorly just Childish Gambino, right?
2
Wait.
people.
Yeah, and like singing
Like featured on it.
Oh,
the actual audio.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it
there
did.
was
I
others,
only
right?
noticed 2.
There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other people in it.
Whoa.
Not including SZA, who's just sitting on the hood of a car at the end. That's the lady. She's I don't really listen to her music, but apparently she's great. She's I think she's the All the Stars chick from the
with
Black Panther
Kendrick.
song.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna get us taken down again, Chris. Bloody hell with the copyright.
Pretty good.
Another interesting fact: first performance of this was on Saturday Night Live a couple of days before this video went live. And do you know who it was introduced by? Daniel Kaluuya.
Who's Daniel Kaluuya?
Daniel Kaluuya, you might not know
You're
because
so racist, Dev.
yeah. Have you seen Get Out?
No,
Have you seen the
That's
meme of the black guy
Definitely
crying?
racist. Oh, there's Scissor.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So he's the main actor in the movie Get Out, which is heavily racial
Yes.
stereotypes and
Yes.
undertones and heaps of lessons just about racism in America.
Mm-hmm.
In America, this is America.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Connected.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
He's in Black Panther, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. Can you play the video again, please?
Can do.
Sure.
Now, the man
is
at the
me.
beginning.
Oh.
So this is about 4 days after, and it is at about 61 million views. I don't know if you can fact check me on that right now.
Can check. Oh,
It was,
right now.
It was 50 something earlier today.
Can you read that?
Yeah, 61.
So when the video first debuted like 4 days ago,
Glad
it
you're
was
wearing glasses.
so Twitter is just having a field day with this
Oh,
stuff,
happening.
like finding the references and pointing out like what's in it.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the first things that was pointed out was the man at the beginning. Everyone thought was Trayvon Martin's father.
This guy,
Yeah,
the guitar guy.
the guitar guy.
Yep.
Which, and when you actually look at pictures of them next to each other, you could see why people would think that.
Okay.
Who is Trayvon?
Trayvon Martin is the father of the...
No, Trayvon
young-
Martin is the kid.
Oh, sorry. Trayvon Martin is the kid that was shot dead by a police officer, I believe, and was not convicted of anything.
Yes.
I got that right?
One of many.
Yeah. In 2012, I believe. Now, keep rolling. Now, like, the first thing that happens is just dancing, and it's nice. And, like,
Yeah.
whenever you watch all the reaction videos to it, everyone's, like, grooving along with it.
Mhm.
And you're just like,
I
ooh.
was.
Yeah.
Because it's in the happy part.
Yeah.
Because the song itself is like happy
He's got his shirt off.
chorus, but then intense verse.
Yeah,
That's
but
like
watching it
funny.
again, when he does that eye thing,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
It was like, oh,
it is a little bit weird.
but
But
it's
then-
Childish Gambino.
Yeah. And then he pauses there and shoots the guy in the head.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's the part I went.
Yeah, I think that's the part where everyone just goes, oh, it's this kind of video.
Yeah.
And so, interesting thing about this pose is it is reminiscent of the Jim Crow pose, which is, it's not really called that, but
What's
that's what kind of people are labeling it. What's Jim Crow, you ask?
Yes.
It refers to the period of history where Jim Crow law was enforced, which is about 1877 to the 1950s somewhere.
Who is it? A person? Jim Crow.
It's a character.
It's a set of laws technically, but it when someone says Jim Crow, it means a lot of things.
Okay.
But it mainly means segregation of
Okay.
black people and white people. So if you remember the Titans, how they're all black people and white people are going to school together now.
Yep.
That's the end of Jim Crow.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be things like restaurants were separated by race,
Gotcha.
water fountains, but mostly in the South of America.
So Jim Crow is basically segregation laws. Is that
Yeah.
what we're saying?
But also, what this
Or
one
is it
specifically is referring to, though, is a man named Thomas Rice, who was an
Mhm.
actor who was, I've lost the word, what's it called? The minstrel.
Yeah, can you look at black minstrels?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd probably know it better as blackface.
Mm.
So when
Yes.
white actors
Yep.
would paint themselves black
Mm-hmm.
and kind of dance in an over-exaggerated way
Gotcha.
to
Yep.
emulate black culture.
It was from like the 1800s.
Yep.
It was a weird form of like entertainment where they'd get white actors to dress up as black people and then act in a ridiculous way.
Yes.
Yeah, but Thomas Rice was known as the father of American minstrelsy.
Mm.
So that's who that particular picture is of, and he kind of
Oh.
pioneered it, I guess, for lack
Yeah.
of a better word.
Mm.
And that is the same. So when Childish Gambino in the song is doing this move, that's like
He's in that pose
yeah, gotcha,
of one of the
Reminiscent.
gotcha.
famous.
Okay.
Do you see
Whereas
it?
the whole
That
video,
makes sense.
he kind of dances between. I guess everybody's saying that he is America in it, like he's the character of America,
Oh.
which I don't know if you guys would agree with.
No? I
wasn't
think the video
agreeing.
itself is America, but I don't think he is America.
Okay, save it.
'Kay.
That was just a little question, sorry.
Yeah.
What question time?
A lot of people are saying he's wearing Confederate pants, which Confederate is the south side of
Oh.
the Civil War, which the Civil War was right before Jim Crow was
Yes.
enforced.
They do look a bit like
They do
that.
look like it, but I looked at a lot of pictures of actual Civil War pants, and they do like echo each other, but they're not exact.
Yeah,
Look, I don't think you're going to be able to find exact Civil War pants.
Yeah, well, it's definitely got the right color and the kind of the button style,
Yeah.
but the buttons on all the Civil War ones I saw weren't on the outside like that. That was kind of the main difference I kept seeing.
So do you think they're like just more like...
There's a lot of people
2018
finding things
version.
that aren't actually in here.
Yeah, I know.
That are finding things,
Yeah.
which is one of the best reasons about it. Is it's just a piece of art that you can kind of interpret the way you want.
Yeah, okay.
So there's also, if you can find 2 chickens, Chris, in the video, that'd be great. So there's a part in it where there's 2 chickens appearing, and no one can figure out what it means,
It's coming
and
up,
it's
yeah.
driving people absolutely crazy. I haven't seen one theory of it.
Yeah,
but there it is.
there.
There's these 2. There's a white chicken and there's a brown chicken.
Oh, do you think that means something?
I don't know.
So it could be the yard bird thing. So the reason why fried chicken is associated with black people is because, and I learnt this from that, it's a food show on Netflix. Anyway, they were only allowed to have chickens. It was like the only animal they had, which is like, it was just the bird that was in the yard. That's why they cooked chicken.
I thought you were gonna say white chicken.
No,
I mean,
they were only
brown
allowed.
chicken.
That was all they were allowed to have, right?
Yeah.
So they weren't eating beef or anything. They only had chickens. It was what was there, so they would eat that, like in the yard. That's where the fried chicken thing comes from, originally.
So, I guess Rick chicken wasn't seen as awesome as it was now.
No, it's just like they were forced to have that,
Yeah.
and then it was sort of associated with like early on, like black people would be selling fried chicken to white people to try and like, I don't know. It's just like it's associated with like black America
Yeah.
history.
Okay.
And another
Do you-
one.
but do you
I don't
think-
fully
oh,
understand
no,
the
I'll say
significance, but it is like a thing.
Is it a chicken theory?
Yeah, well, no,
I want to hear it if it's a chicken
well,
theory.
No, I was just going to say, like, is it significant that there's a brown one and a white one?
Well, they could have got a black one, you know?
Are there black
I
chickens?
don't think
I
there's
don't
black
think
chickens.
that's. I don't think that's.
Well,
I think they just found 2 chickens.
Yeah, but
You
I
don't
feel
know
like,
that, John.
I feel like everything is significant in this video.
There's enough actual significant things to not have to look too deep into things that.
So
I don't
speaking
know.
of significant things,
Okay.
there's a church choir massacre in the
Yes.
video,
Yes.
which is super confronting. But play it from a little bit before where you just played it, Chris. So one thing that got pointed out to me that I didn't think of was he's doing the Jim Crow dance and like jig and dance like until he's shooting them, which I thought was a super interesting, and it actually kind of looks like a stage, like they're all performing, and then obviously he pulls out a gun and shoots them, which one of the biggest takeaways of the video that everyone's been saying has been how well they treat the guns in the video. So every time he uses one, it gets a plush red velvet.
He hands it off to someone who like
Yeah.
cares for it very, very well.
Yeah, while leaving the dead body or the other dead body just getting dragged off and kind of left there. Which says a lot about guns in America.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's not obviously, but it's a direct reference to the 2015 Charleston church massacre, in which attendees of a prayer service were murdered by self-described white supremacist Dylan Roof.
Yep.
Another interesting thing that I just saw on someone on Twitter was the choir is also singing "Get Your Money, Black Man," which is perhaps a jab at churches always asking for money. But I thought that was a little bit of a reach, but interesting nonetheless.
It says it. That's throughout the.
right? Like,
Yeah, and it is. He's right. It
that's
isn't
the
the
hook
only
throughout
time
the whole
they
song.
say it the whole time. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Get your money.
Take me to the horse, Chris.
Take me to the horse.
So everyone's been saying that this horse that rides by in the background is the horse of death. But I've also heard another interesting theory. But what they're referring to as the pale horse of death is a thing from Revelation, which I have here. This is pretty heavy, so get ready. When the Lamb broke the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, "Come!" I looked, and behold, an ashen horse, and he who sat on it had the name Death, and Hades was following him. Authority was given to them over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by the wild beasts of earth. Also interesting is that behind the horse is a cop car,
Ooh.
And in the verse it says, followed by Hades, which doesn't mean the character Hades from Greek mythology, which is what I thought when I first heard it. It just means hell.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Interesting, right? Also, different theory. Hear me out.
Okay.
This one's a little bit wild. Now, the Pale Horse of... Behold the Pale White Horse is a book written by a guy named Milton William Cooper, who was he's kind of a conspiracy theory... He's big in the conspiracy theory kind of circles.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
world.
Like Jono.
Yeah. So in the book, Behold the Pale White Horse, which people think the Pale White Horse refers to, because it's a bit of a debate, but most people think it's the horse of death. It's one of the major theories in it is that HIV was man-made. HIV and AIDS was man-made to quell minority populations.
We know the government
Really?
administer AIDS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You said that
Easy.
back before he got enlightened.
Yeah, back when he made things like this that were interesting and didn't say stupid things. Sorry. That was a bit harsh.
Sorry, easy.
Yeah, but also in that book, because that theory, like, as kind of wild as it is, like the HIV thing, I mean, like, there could be a crazy world where that is a reality. Like, the horrificness of it isn't unheard of.
It is
Yeah.
pretty broad, like, strokes to look at black cult, like, history, and the HIV epidemic was a very big, like, part of it.
Yeah.
Especially in Africa as well, because a lot of the dances they do are actually African dances, not just... So it's not just, like, America, black people, it's also, like, Africa, black people, so...
Yeah, well, the dance he does in this called the South African Gwara Gwara dance, people think he's doing the South African one particularly because of the correlations of apartheid stuff and just racism in South Africa as well as America. But I think that's reading into it a bit, but who knows? You never know. Who knows what he's thinking? Also, just to be noted, he also thinks aliens killed the assassinated Kennedy. So who knows how great that book is. It actually kind of made me want to read it after looking into it. All the reviews on Amazon says it's amazing.
What's the book about who killed JFK?
Yeah.
I've read it.
No.
It's
This
called
conspiracy
Behold
theory.
the Pale White Horse.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
wait.
not.
But one
Come
of the
on,
theories
stay on.
Sorry, I was replying
one
to
of
the
the
comments.
one of the theories is that Kennedy was killed by aliens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're definitely
No, I
doing
haven't
that
read
at
that
some
book.
point. Oh,
Lots of
yeah.
people are asking us about the cushion. Can you just address that quickly?
Okay, so the cushion is there because I don't know if you saw our first Facebook live stream, but it got taken down because the Olympic Committee thought that something in our broadcast was copyrighted, which
probably move that.
we didn't even have any video like on the screen.
So it was definitely not that.
No, it could have been like, I don't know if like the lines in the picture like triggered something.
Maybe.
So
Okay.
the quick trick to get around that is to break the box of the frame of the video you have in it, and that is what the pillow is doing,
Great.
so that people can't automatically detect what we're playing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. Hope that is a good enough
Hope it
answer.
cleared
Is
that up
there
for
that
you.
many people
Niku
asking
and-
about it?
Tim Ha.
Okay.
What next?
Just one thing we didn't mention was that the shoot dance is in it, which is just the whole thing's full of dance that's distracting. But
It's distracting.
there's
It's
the
a
Michael.
music video.
He also refers to Michael Jackson by dancing on a car at the end, and also the kind of the way he flicks and does his head thing. And that's mainly it for the references and kind of what's in it. Was there anything I missed that you guys thought of?
The end? Did you want to talk?
Oh yeah, crap.
Oh, apparently the car thing, you're panning out over cars and stuff. Some people think that's related to the LA riots from the 1990.
Yeah,
1991.
I heard that, and I also heard that just the regression of like black culture. So that's why the kind of cars are old. But
Oh.
yeah, the LA riots thing is cool.
Because they're all
Also,
like 90s cars.
everyone
old
thinks
cars.
this is referring to the sunken place from Get Out, especially because how Daniel Kaluuya introduced the song the first time. Honestly, when I first actually saw it, I thought he was running away from the mob for making the music video, like the internet mob. What do you guys think that last part?
That
is?
last bit, I don't know if it's a Get Out reference. Like the idea of someone running away in a dark place from a horde of people who look like they're running like zombies.
Mm.
It's more general than needing to be a specific reference to a like Get Out in particular, right? Like that's very basic symbolism that humans understand regardless of whether you've seen Get Out. Like if you look at that and you're like, that's a scene of horror of someone.
Yeah.
Well, I actually thought they were all running. All the black people were running.
Well, I think it's
not
one of the
running
very
away from them.
few parts that has not black people in it.
So the important thing is the way they're running
okay,
differently.
I didn't realize that.
So the people chasing aren't using their arms the way he's using his arms, so it gives them a kind of not alive sort of zombie appearance.
Yep.
And there's also the element of like he stopped dancing.
Mm.
So they're
like his eyes are like he's expressive, he's got a soul. But the people chasing him don't. They're deliberately dehumanized.
Yeah. So he's stopped performing.
Yep.
And they are enraged.
Well, I feel like it's what's happening underneath over the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like you strip back the dancing and stuff. This is what's actually happening the whole way through.
Yep.
Not like it happened in sequence. It's like this is what was actually happening the whole time.
Mm. Now, discussion time. What do you guys think of the video in general?
I think it's amazing.
Love it.
I think
really,
it was
really good.
I don't like music videos, I guess. I'd never watch them. But then this one came out, I was like, oh, new song from Childish Gambino, I'll watch this. And then, like, Ev's reaction was like, oh, he shot someone. My goodness, what happened
Alan
just
watched
then?
me when I was watching it for the first time.
Wait, it was so good. Let me do my impersonation of Ev watching it on her little phone with her earpods, classically at lunchtime.
I have an iPhone 8 Plus. It's not a little phone.
Okay.
Just saying.
Now, I knew she was watching it. She's like, I'm finally watching it. I'm like, good. We're bloody talking about it tonight. It's about time you friggin' watched it. Because I knew what the video had in it, and she had no idea.
I had no idea. Like, I've sheltered myself.
Had you heard about it?
I've only just like
from us talking about it.
Well, yeah, and then I was gonna watch a reaction video during the week, and I thought maybe I should watch the video first before I watch the reaction video. So I haven't watched anything.
That's usually a good plan.
So I just kind of like watched her a little bit because like I wanted to see how she'd react. And like when the gunshot happened, I just saw her body and the sound come out was just like, oh! I was like, oh, I wonder which part she's at. Like,
it's such a effective way of conveying the message because everyone gets it. Like you were mentioning all the things that people are like going really deep into it, but even just like a surface level, everyone looks at it and goes, oh, what's going on in the background? I mean, like it's a cool dance, but I kind of like can't tell what's happening because he's in the way the whole time. And then you're like, that's the point. He's in the way the whole time, and there's so much more important stuff going on in the background. Like it's pretty like when you break it down enough, it's actually quite simple. And I think everyone understands that point, at least that much into it.
So what do you think the main point of the message is in like one sentence?
Just that we've got our priorities wrong.
That's what I was going to say. Like we talked about a lot of the specifics, but not the broad message of what he's actually saying here. And I think it's hard to boil down to one sentence. But
I mean, if you want to, there's so much more in it than just that. But I think even a surface, like second time watching it, I was like, we've got our priorities wrong. Like that's what he's saying. And then, like you said, there's so much more. Like especially when you think about the end bit. You're just a black man. Like the words over the end bit when he's running away is like, you're just a black man. Like just he's like everyone else. The whole bit with the phones and all that stuff. Like there is heaps in it, but you get the message, the basic message, the most important part of it. It's layered. It's very layered. But even like the most obvious layer is still like a very poignant message.
Yeah.
So I like it.
I haven't heard any good like arguments for like bad things about this video, but I have heard one that was kind of interesting. You guys want to hear it?
Yes.
A guy I was reading about he thought the point of the video was lost because all the violence is black on black and there's no white on black violence.
Interesting.
Which, what do you think? Like, do you think what do you think would have been different if there was white people being violent in it?
I think there would have been a huge reaction against that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it the message and discussion would have been very different.
Heaps.
Do you think it would have been more poignant or like?
No, I think it would have been more like
Divisive.
yeah.
I think it would have missed the point that they're making. It's not about
It's
white people attacking them. It's about white people not caring. It's about the way that most people look at black people and say, you're either an entertainer or you're a dead body that I don't care about.
Mm.
So, like, it conveys it perfectly. If it was a white person shooting everyone, then it would be, oh, it's about police violence or something like that, and it wouldn't be the point that he's actually making.
Mm.
At least I don't think so. Because everything, like, it's not specific. Like, you don't see a cop shoot a black person, like you said. Like, it's obvious that if that was what they wanted to talk about, that is what would have happened.
Yeah. You know, what's actually super interesting, and I think proves to your point of that's not what he was going for, is if you actually look at all the cops in the whole video, I didn't write that down for some reason, none of them are actually doing anything.
Mm.
Oh.
They also seem kind of lost or
Yeah.
just running. There's
Oh, wow.
no, like, police beating up people or anything.
It's also his telling his story, right?
Mm.
So if you have a character, so no one can look at this and go, he's wrong, right?
Yeah.
And obviously if you had a white person shooting the black people, all the white people would be like, oh, that's like, it would just become a thing where like, oh no, not all cops are bad or all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Or like they were justified, this is a misrepresentation. But you can't say he's wrong because he's just telling his story in like a really effective way, but he's telling the only story that you can tell without anyone disagreeing with you.
And I think it's not it as much as it is an indictment of white Americans. It's not exclusive. Like the gun culture is not exclusive to white people. The prioritizing of like freedom over lives is not an exclusive message. So
Yeah.
I think it's more inclusive by not putting white people in there, and like I think it will speak to more people.
I think you're right in that I didn't feel like white guilt or anything from this, which I imagine some people would.
I think I don't know. When I watch it, I don't understand a lot of these things that we've been talking about. Like I don't know the dances and the history and the jailbird. I don't see a lot of that. So I don't know whether a white American audience might understand that more in context, because I don't gather any of those.
I think a lot of people would be similar to you just because the history stuff's a little bit deep.
Yeah.
So I don't think most people would respond to that.
But it's not trying to trigger. I don't think it's trying to trigger white guilt. I think it's trying to trigger empathy.
Yeah, that's what I mean of
Yeah.
that. I just, at the end of it, I thought, man, we need to be better. That's what
Yeah,
I thought.
exactly.
I didn't think, oh, I feel bad for being white.
Yeah, which is a defensive response, which is what you would have gotten if there was a white person shooting a black
Yes.
person there.
Yeah.
It would have been a defensive response rather than oh, this sucks.
And
We should be better than this.
This is America, not this is Black America. Like this is our problem.
Yeah, there's so many genius layers to it. I think you made a really good point of it's his perspective, so you can't really be like you're an idiot or you're wrong.
Even
Especially when he's executing it so perfectly.
Yeah. Even if like people were like you said, this is America. Obviously that's not America for most Americans, right? But it's like no one can say what America's like for another person, right?
Yeah.
He's saying this is America. This is obviously his America.
Yeah.
Which is bad. Like it's objectively bad.
Mm.
It's so well done as well.
Yeah.
Like that's like, how long would it take to make something like this? Like how much time would it take in the creative process to actually come up with all of these things?
I'd say
and
months.
Execute it so
Yeah.
well.
Heaps.
Yeah, I'd say months just in terms of planning that many bodies moving.
Mm.
And as far as I could tell, it's only really 4 kind of shots.
Mm.
Mhm.
So and there's so much choreography going
Yeah.
on in each of those shots. And there's so much timing to do. And just even like his dance routine is super long and super complicated.
Yep.
And the timing of how perfect it is, go to when he's dancing with the kids behind him, of he starts the dance and he does the dances and they respond and dance after he starts each new dance move.
Mm.
There's just so much detail in this that
And
it's
like
insane.
He nails even like the facial expression is
Yeah.
actually like as important as the dance moves themselves, right?
Yeah.
Because he's doing stuff that like he's got that It's so expressive,
Crazy,
and if you
yeah.
didn't do the expressions at the right time, it wouldn't make sense. But he just like nails it. Obviously, there would have been heaps of takes, right?
Yeah, which is a huge testament to just how good of an actor he is as well.
Yeah. Has he come out and said anything about it?
No, and I hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hope he doesn't say anything about it for like 6 years.
I just want to know the answers.
That's the point.
Which parts are you confused by?
It's not math,
I
Sev.
wanna know, but I want to know, like, are we right? Is it the horse of death, or is it the other whatever? I want to know.
Like Kanye would say, you can't ask an artist what an art means.
What an art? What is an art? What
That
is
does
an
sound
art?
like something Kanye would say.
But that's it. That I wasn't.
There
I don't
was,
know. I don't know how long that went for. It felt like
I
geez.
did read something interesting about the way that the fact that he's dancing like that, how it affects you as well as a person. So there's this thing like scientists have been doing research on called mirror neurons that are in your body, and they like fire when you see someone do something. So you're not doing it. So you've got neurons that fire when you move, but then there's also mirror neurons that fire when you see someone move, and it's the part of you that makes you want to dance. Like you you watch this, and you see the dance moves and the beat, and you want to join in, but at the same time, there's like the horror of it. There's such a good like, I just thought it was like really well done, that juxtaposition of the dancing with the shooting and the horror in the background. It's just like,
Yeah.
that's that thing that helps get a message through, right? It's like when you have that
It
contrast
puts
going
you
on.
into it
Yeah.
because you feel the guilt when you realize what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
You're like, I was just following along blindly,
Mm.
even though
So-
it kind of tricks you into it.
So is it okay
psychological.
to meme or not?
Oh, I forgot about that
To
question.
meme or not to meme?
To me, I'm totally okay with memes because I think memes, it's almost like a language. So like outlawing a language seems ridiculous.
Mm.
Did that sound wanky? I didn't mean it wanky.
No.
Well, it's like a free speech argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's okay.
'Cause
It's like obviously like it's
don't
okay in
know.
the sense that anyone can do whatever the hell they want.
yeah.
But like I think if you look at this video and your first response is how can I get attention
yeah.
myself, then you've completely missed the point.
Do you think that's what a meme is?
I think
Getting
it's like
attention.
you're trying to entertain people by appropriating something else, right? Like you're working
Well,
off the back
yeah.
of something
Yeah.
to get attention for what you're doing.
Or it's just a punchline.
Yeah.
But I think you're trying to use something popular
Mm.
to make your message popular.
Yeah.
It's like in marketing, like we look at things that are trending, and then we try and come up with clever ways to
You
get
try
our
and
message
ride on the back of it,
across.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a trending thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And I'm not going to say we're perfect. I'm definitely talking about this because it's the biggest thing of the week.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think it was super moving and powerful to me, but I also want to get views for it. So
Well,
is that wrong?
Well, the show is called Trend Settings.
Yeah.
So we look at things that are trending.
Yeah.
and
We
it's trending.
talk about objectively horrifying, like we talk about massacres and things like.
Yeah.
Oh, we say it because we think it's worth hearing, right?
Mm. Totally.
But a meme is a joke, right?
Yeah,
That's
a
what a
meme,
meme
like,
is. And if I think you can,
undercuts.
you can
Yeah.
joke about anything.
Yeah, I think there are memes that aren't like detrimental for it though. I think there are memes that are super powerful and meaningful that go kind of with the message. But yeah,
What do you think?
that
of
being
someone-
said, 99% of them aren't that.
yeah.
Like 99% of them are like,
What do you think of someone making a video, like where they're doing that dance?
from this video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you got the point wrong.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm.
Anything else? Anyone got on that?
No.